the definitive top 5 list of airplanes from World War II in the hangar. Hi, welcome to In the Hangar. I'm Dan Milliken.
And I'm Christy Wong. Today's episode is brought to you by a great list of sponsors. We'll have links below and details on them later. But first, Dan.
Top 5 airplanes of World War II, and nobody better than bringing on Ray Harris from the History of World War II podcast. Ray, thanks for coming back.
Thank you very much.
I've heard that you're somewhat of an expert on the topic.
We're about to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, so top 5. What we're going to do here in this episode, we're going to determine for everyone
Right.
what is the definitive best 5 airplanes of World War II.
And this will generate no hate mail whatsoever.
No, we'll have no
Okay,
comments
good,
whatsoever
good.
on this.
Okay.
So, and you know, to kind of frame it, these are the airplanes that had the most impact
Right.
on World War II,
Right.
except for my list. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, you're switching things up.
Oh, I hate
well,
it
maybe.
when you do
Curveball.
that. I know.
Curveball.
Curveball. Yeah, I like doing
yeah.
that. Okay, so
right.
so what we'll do is we'll go one at a time, list the 5. We won't comment, and then the next person, and then we'll hash it out and decide which
Fight to the death.
fight to the death of what needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Christy.
Oh my gosh, wow, on the spot. Well, I took my notes on my phone.
I did too.
I want to put it out there that I am by no means an expert on the topic, but I do like airplanes.
Yeah.
And I like history. So this was kind of a fun little...
Okay, start with your number 5.
Oh gosh, my number 5. Okay, well, okay. Oh, that's okay.
He broke my brain too with this question, so I'm right there with you.
This isn't hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5 was actually the B-25 Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
And-
because your son's name is Mitchell.
My son's name is Mitchell, but it was super durable. And the whole like Jimmy Doolittle raid, and that was really
Okay.
cool. And
Right.
it was the only bomber, the first and last time that a bomber ever took off from a carrier like that.
Right.
All right,
And what was
nice.
also really interesting about the B-25 and that, it's not like it did a ton of damage,
Right.
but psychologically,
Yes.
it damaged the Japanese mindset.
Okay.
And the Americans needed that little lift.
Exactly.
Yes,
It was
yes.
like, oh, go Mitchell, you know? And so
All
that
right.
is why the B-25 is my number.
Okay, number 4.
Well, first of all, Dan, I'd like to change my list. And I'd like to
No,
amend that.
you can't do that yet.
Okay.
No. Okay. So because she brings.
Oh
up a
wow!
good
So
point.
you want me to just throw all 4 out?
I want to hear all of them. Yeah. Number 4.
gonna
Okay.
be
Well,
that
number
way.
4 was the FU Corsair.
Okay.
Okay.
And you don't have to go into it because we'll hash that out in a minute. What's number 3?
Number 3 is the Spitfire.
Okay. Nice. All right.
Okay. Number 2 is the B-29 Super Fortress.
Okay.
And my number 1.
Of course, I know what that is. Okay, go ahead. The Wong Warrior. Wait.
No. Actually, I'm throwing it out. I'm throwing a curve. You wanted a
Oh.
curveball. The Mitsubishi Zero.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
I have a really good rationale as to why.
Okay, we're going to do that in a
Okay.
minute. We're going to do that in a minute. So, all right, then I'll go next, my top 5. Number 5, I'm going to go ahead and put, because I felt like if I didn't, we would get tons of hate mail. Number 5, P-51 Mustang. Okay.
See, that's just the trendy thing to do.
Because it's a trendy thing. Number
Okay.
4, the Mitsubishi Zero.
What?
Yep.
Oh
and,
my
and I'll
God,
give a
okay.
reason. I have reasonings for that
Oh, I've
too.
got my reasons.
Number 3, the Spitfire.
Whoa.
Number 2, the B-17.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, everybody knows what my number 1 is.
It's the Corsair.
F4U.
Yes, yes.
So, all right, Ray.
Well, a disclaimer. I don't know if I really. First of all, when you sent me this question, it broke my brain. It's like, okay, I could do 10, but I'm not sure if I really have them in order, but a lot of mine match up with y'all's. So I have the Zero.
As number 5?
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do number 5. Okay, number 5. Number 4, the P-51 Mustang.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's almost exactly mine. All right.
Yeah. Then I throw you guys a curveball, the Stuka Ju-87 dive bomber.
Interesting.
We'll
Okay.
get, and I'll
We'll
be
get
able
into
to
that.
defend myself later.
Yep.
All
Okay,
right,
okay.
The B-29.
Okay.
Okay.
If I said that.
Which was my, if I'd had 6, that would have been my 6th.
Right. And this is more of an emotional decision than facts and figures. The Corsair. That's my baby.
Yeah, all right. I like you.
Okay.
I knew there was a reason
Yeah.
that you and I connected.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
hey, I had the Corsair.
I know.
We already have that.
we already had that
co-host
connection.
connection. Okay,
You're
got
connected.
it.
We're recently connected.
Yeah.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
It's the Corsair that does that.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's hash it out now. Let's start. Okay. So first of all, let's take what is really common. So we have the F4U Corsair. We have the Zero as 2 out of 3.
I thought I
Did
was.
you say you didn't say Spitfire?
No, which is where
Interesting.
the hate mail comes on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but you did pick a German plane. That was
Yeah,
interesting.
thank you for pointing that out to everybody. Thanks a lot.
I thought I was actually going like outside the box by picking
The
the
Zero?
Zero. Yeah, I was
Okay,
like,
well, okay,
I'm gonna
let's-
throw it out then.
Let's hash out the Zero. You said you had reasons. Let's hear the reasons.
Okay, so the Zero really changed dogfighting. Okay, when I started doing research on this and I went back and looked through it, like at first, when they came out with the Zero and you were going up against them, you were basically dead. You're like, well, today I'm gonna die.
Right.
And so it really forced the Allied, military to come up with new dogfighting tactics.
Yes.
Because the Zero was just so agile and whatnot. And in the end, they wound up being able to come up with the tactics to beat the Zero. And then, of course, we got the whole kamikaze thing. But I really appreciated it as a World War II aircraft because it changed the dynamic in which dogfighting occurred.
So my reasoning is almost exactly parallels yours, except instead of that it revolutionized dogfighting, it revolutionized and jump-started the American designs. So we got the Corsair because of the Zero, and we needed something that could combat that.
Right.
So I like what you said. The Zero had such an impact that it impacted dogfighting, had such an impact that it impacted American design.
They raised the bar.
They raised the bar because without the Zero, we would have continued fighting with the Brewster Buffalo.
Right. Yes, but going back to what you said, so yes, Claire Chenault is able to come up with tactics to counter the ability of the Zero, but that's not the same thing as having a plane that's on par or even better.
Right.
So this is a desperate attempt. Go up high, dive down, shoot at them, stay away from the Zero. So yeah, you're right, absolutely right. So it's like the Americans are like, oh, this is serious. And there's another thing, and you got to be careful with this. But the Americans just assumed the Japanese couldn't do anything right. They couldn't do anything as well as them. We're the best and all that kind of stuff. And so for a while, they refused to acknowledge the abilities of the Zero. But after Pearl Harbor falls and after MacArthur's Air Force is taken out in a matter of 2 days in the Philippines, you've got to acknowledge that the Zero, for the first part of the war in the Pacific, helped the Japanese dominate everywhere. And you've got to give them props for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So, well, you know what? Let's do this. The airplanes that were mentioned only by one person, B-17.
Okay.
B-17, I say that brought Germany to its knees industrially. So that's why I kind of have that on my list.
Yes, but only kind of after the P-51 came in to give it
protection.
Yeah, because I'm kind of on my numbers here, but as far as the 8th Air Force, 21,000 crewmen were shot down, 17,000 are going to end up dying. I mean, it was a bloodbath. These guys were brave to go up day after day after day, knowing there wasn't a good chance they were coming back. P-51 comes along, gives them proper escort. It changes everything, and you're right. They are able to obliterate the German war machine.
Okay. So maybe, okay, so I can see where there's some valid points there. What else was, okay, let's go to your junkers.
So the Stuka Ju-87, quite simply, it's incorporated in the Blitzkrieg. It's with the Panzers, and again, it allows them to take Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, France, Luxembourg, and the western half of the Soviet Union. You've got to acknowledge that plane, in a larger context, was able to literally dominate the war for the first 2.5 years.
Was it okay, so early on in the war, that was a huge impact. Was that brand new?
I think the part of it that was new was the terror aspect of it. So not only will it take out the enemy's tanks or trucks or whatever right in front of the Panzers, but the noise, the whistle that they attach these, I can't remember what it's called, they attach these things. And so you can hear that sound today in a movie, in a documentary, and you still know that something bad is about to happen. That terrorized an entire generation of Europeans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any others that were not voted on by? You didn't have the Gladiator from Malta.
No, I did not.
Okay, I really
yeah.
thought you would come out
I
with the
know,
Gladiator.
and I knew, so I countered by not putting it on
see.
there. Yeah, I can play this game too.
I-
I think the only one I had on my list that was different than yours was the B-25, but I've kind of
Oh,
already-
that's right.
I've already given my reasons.
Well, those were
effectively.
solid.
Yeah, you know,
solid
the
reasons.
only bomber to do. I have to give it to you. That's pretty significant. Okay, so and I was surprised. I did do the P-51 Mustang only as a concession to all the hate mail that I would get if I didn't.
Right.
See, you know what? I wasn't going to go down. I wasn't going to do it.
It
I'm
seems like
not going to
everybody,
pander.
everybody I
I'm not gonna
talked
pander.
to, favorite airplane ever, P-51 Mustang.
Yeah, but if I had
to
to
me, it
choose-
looks like a.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a fish giving birth. It does. It's not the Corsair.
It's
You
not.
hate mail and
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
and
here
that
comes the hate
and
mail.
see, and that's the thing. So here's the thing about the Corsair. The Corsair, I think, is better than the P-51. I mean, not only is it just a sexy beast, you know, you got those bendy wings and stuff.
Right.
It was functional. You know, that anhedral followed by the dihedral, it made it so
Had a lot of
agile.
hedrals.
Yeah, it did. But it made it so agile.
Yes.
And it could carry like all the bombs.
Yeah.
You know?
And it had 650 cal
Yeah,
in the wings.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
know.
So it was.
Well, and that would lead the question: why didn't the Corsair? Did the Corsair not have the range as the P-51?
Ooh, that's
The
a good question.
P-51D, because the original P-51 couldn't do it. They had to
Right.
get the Merlin
Merlin
engine.
No, the
engine,
Corsair had a
yes.
long range.
It
It
had-
was like
It was in the
1,500
Pacific.
miles.
Yes, it had they needed that in the Pacific, but its biggest thing was, its range. It had the self-sealing tanks. It had the armor protecting the pilot. You add that to the range, and you got the 650 cals. It's going to do a lot of damage, but it could go 400 miles an hour at sea level. It could go 3,000 feet. It could climb 3,000 feet in a minute. I mean, the Zero's days are numbered once the Corsair comes out.
Oh,
But I'm
and
just wondering why the Corsair didn't go to to the European theater.
Well, remember, it was supposed to be for the carriers out in the
Carriers.
Pacific.
And the
Right,
Navy
it was-
said,
They said,
"Oh,
I
it's
can't
too
say.
big."
I can't say.
Yeah.
Do you need to be able to see to land on
No,
a carrier?
no.
I don't know.
You just watch the.
a fun fact that I learned about the Corsair was
Right.
that it was the first U.S. Navy aircraft to feature landing gear that retracted into a fully enclosed wheel well.
forgotten
and
that,
I
yes.
thought that was a really cool fact. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to add to the speed, less drag, all that good stuff. Yeah.
again, it was like it was revolutionary.
Sexy.
It's a sexy
Yeah,
beast.
yeah, yeah.
You didn't have P-51, did you?
I did have.
No, you did. So that was two. Okay.
Yeah.
Panderer, panderer.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Yeah,
I
we
did-
sold out.
Yeah, you did actually.
I didn't put the Spitfire on here. Yes, I should have, but someone said top 5. But I have actually embraced a Spitfire. I was at a museum, and the guy said, "Don't touch the planes." I said, "Absolutely, boss." And I hugged it. So he said, "You can go now." I was like, "I got what I wanted. I'm good. Thank you very much." So, yeah. So I've embraced the Spitfire.
You have.
It was
okay.
so fast.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
could
It
you
was
not
beautiful.
embrace
It was a thing of beauty.
Better than a P-51.
Yeah.
In my
All
humble
right, so I'm
list of
okay
Right.
with pulling the P-51 off the list. I'm surprised that. Okay, but I'm good with that. So all
I'm
right.
going against the grain. You wanted my top 5.
Right.
All right, and what was your number one?
My number 1
Oh, you don't know
was the
this off
Zero.
Oh, number one was the
Yeah,
Zero.
it was the
Okay.
Zero because of the way it
Yeah,
changed
okay.
the course of aviation and dogfighting and
Yeah.
against the grain.
All right, so we need to now come up with our definitive, altogether a consensus top 5.
Well, I think the Zero goes on the list.
It goes on the. Okay, I agree. Zero is on the list.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it's number 1 because it's not the definitive plane of World War II. It was in the early days.
Did I say World War I? I meant World War. I want to do World War I next.
Right. that
World
would be
War I
cool.
airplanes.
Right.
They
That would
could
be
go
neat.
at 30 knots. so. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gladiator. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this: the B-29
Yes.
is pretty much
Oh.
in the Pacific. Does that somehow affect its ranking if it's just in?
Well,
It literally ended the war.
Yes. Yeah.
well, but I would say
bombed,
that
yeah.
I think the theaters doesn't matter because there weren't any planes that were in both theaters, were
It's
there?
called World War.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Good point.
It seemed
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
B-29 was over there, the B-17 and B-24s and 25s were over there.
the airplanes had different missions.
Yeah, they did.
Good point.
So-
because it's just when you're in the Pacific, it's just vast
Right.
open spaces.
Exactly.
Okay.
Versus like Europe, you're like bomb all the things.
All right.
We don't like your questions.
You don't like my questions?
We want to change the structure of the entire episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want it to be?
No,
The
I just-
bottom top 5?
I'm mostly just here to give you a hard time. That's
good.
what she told
All
me.
right.
to
Yeah.
do.
Okay, good.
We had that.
We had that.
So
yeah.
we have the Zero. We have the Corsair, definitely.
Yeah,
Right.
the Corsair.
Were any planes on all 3 of our lists?
Well,
Corsair.
yeah,
The
the
Corsair.
Corsair, the
And what
Zero.
else? No, he didn't have the Zero.
Oh, he,
No,
no,
I did.
he did.
I did have the
Oh, you
zero.
did? The
Yeah.
Zero made.
Which is why I said the
Okay.
Zero.
So Zero, Corsair, and any others make all 3 of us.
I get Zero.
No, that's
I
it.
had the B-25, the B-29, and then the
B-29,
Spitfire.
And I didn't have the B-20.
And I had this Mustang.
Okay, so in that case, the only 2 to get a consensus, all of us, is the Zero and the Corsair. I cannot, in good conscience, put the Zero as number 1.
I mean,
It's unpatriotic.
It is. So
I agree with that.
all right, so Corsair number 1. So we have reached
Yes.
a consensus.
Yes.
Number 1 airplane of World War II, the F-4U Corsair.
Is there a drum roll? No.
No.
Okay,
Well, I can
no,
add it in
okay,
post.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But we'll have to do number 2, the Zero.
The Zero, I mean, it did.
It
but here's the thing:
dominated.
if it weren't for the Zero, we wouldn't have the Corsair.
Exactly. That's why it's number 2.
Okay.
So number 3, we probably should give some love to the European theater.
Spitfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spitfire. I agree.
Spitfire.
was-
Okay, and you didn't have it, so.
I did not, but we don't need to bring that up.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we have to have a bomber.
No, we do,
on
because
that.
I got to give you a hard time.
We have to have a bomber.
Okay, so number 4,
I'm going to advocate for the Mitchell.
Mitchell, which was a.
It was a
Which neither one of us
kick-ass
had that.
airplane.
Right. No, but you're right on the psychological boost.
It did.
FDR said, it came from Shangri-La.
Can you
so-
give that one B-24? Can you give that one a number
You mean
4 on the top
B-25?
5? I mean B-25?
I got you.
I can see that.
I can do that.
I can do that.
I can give you that.
Thank you.
All right, so we get the
All right,
Mitchell
I
at
won.
number 4.
I won something.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Power of personality. You
Yeah,
dominate.
exactly.
Then we
Yeah.
get to number 5. What is the 5th airplane in our list?
Do we want to either say the B-29 or the Mustang?
You both had the. Well, I don't think we can do the Mustang because we'd be accused of selling out by some, and we'll be hated by others. So it's okay. We'll get comments either way.
Right.
So I'm okay with the. I'm the only one that did not have the B-29, but it did in the war, as you said. You had the B-29.
Yes. Yes.
So I would be okay, number 5, with the B-29, the plane that ended the
Okay.
war.
So it's nice to know that this has been forever decided.
Yeah. So this is
I like how every single one of my airplanes ended up.
Oh,
Oh, there.
yes, you win. You
I
win.
do. I
Yeah,
won.
you
That's what I
won.
said.
Okay,
I won.
So Christy won
I
this.
will give the booby prize though to the P-51 because no matter how I feel about it not being a top 5,
honorable
it was
mention
an
is a better
iconic.
name for
Yes.
There you go.
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable mention.
Yes.
Honorable mention.
I know. I don't want to get that much hate, but it is an iconic airplane.
Yes.
It is very iconic. You see a Mustang and you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
you know.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Beast.
All right. So there we have the top 5 airplanes of World War II. It's a definitive list.
Written in stone.
Number 1, the F-4U Corsair. Number 2, the A6M Mitsubishi Zero. Number 3, the British Spitfire. Oh, that's a sexy plane too.
Yes.
Number 4, the B-25 Mitchell.
Yes.
And number 5, the B-29, the plane that ended World War II.
Super Fortress, yeah.
Yes.
All right, good. All right.
Yes.
Well, Ray, thanks for coming on and
you.
giving me a hard time.
Yeah. Hey.
This was
And,
fun. We should do more debates.
we should
this
just
is
do more
awesome.
picking
Oh.
on Dan. That's why I'm here.
I mean, honestly, that's really what I got.
Icing
from it.
on
All
the
right,
cake.
all right. So thank you guys for watching. I'm sure you totally 100% agree with our top 5 list. And if you didn't, let us know in the comments below.
Let him know.
Oh gosh,
Let him know.
I'm just
Don't let
waiting
me
for
know.
all
Let
the
Ray
hate.
know. And you can check Ray out at History of World War II podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, check it out. It's great stuff. After about 40 years, he's only up to 1942 in
Yes.
his podcasting. So it's amazing stuff.
Incredible.
Incredible. Also incredible is our sponsors. And the sponsors we have are all companies that are run by pilots. And so we love our aviation family. We love to support them. Supporting them helps support us. So please, please check them out. We've got them in the links below. And we've got the logos going across the screen right now. So
Yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting us, watching our content. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time.
in the hangar.